Now, before we move on to anything else in this course, I want to take the time to not only tidy up our site, but to also take the knowledge from the previous lessons and apply that to each one of our pages. We'll start by updating the content, and then we'll look at how we can match that content to the browser title, meta tags, and URLs. So let's start with the home page. As you can see here, we have a title, so it's a good start. This is an H1. Then we have a description below there, and then we get into the content. But I'm going to focus on the header before we move down. Now, if we preview our site in the browser, and again we go and disable the styles, we can see here we're off to a pretty good start. We've got our logo, we've got our navigation at the top, and then we've got a heading, so an H1 heading at the very top. So this is a good start. Then we've got some supporting text to describe the content. And then, as I say, we get into the additional content below. Now, as I say, the structure is good, but we're not really filling up, but we're not really using any of the keywords that we want to be found for here. For the community site, I'm targeting keywords such as RapidWeaver, add-ons, videos, tutorials, things like that. So I definitely want to make sure that all of those keywords are inside the H1 title for this page. So let's go back to RapidWeaver and do that. We'll go to the edit area, and then we'll edit the header specifically. So as I say, the keywords for my site or for the page are going to be things like RapidWeaver add-ons, videos, and tutorials. So why don't we enter a title of find 1000 plus RapidWeaver add-ons and hundreds of video tutorials. So this is already a good improvement. We've got 3 additional keywords into the header. So we've got add-ons, videos, tutorials, and RapidWeaver. Now I'm making this point because you need to be filling the H1 header of your page with as many keywords as possible, but you also want to be doing it in a natural way that describes the content. And I think what we've done here is doing that. Okay, next up, the paragraph below. It's a good start. It does have a few of the keywords. We've got RapidWeaver and add-ons and a few other additional supporting keywords. People might be searching for things like free RapidWeaver add-ons. So we've got some of those keywords in this description here as well. However, I'm going to update this. I'm just going to paste in some content that I've prepared. So I've gone with browse free RapidWeaver add-ons and level up your web design skills with our official RapidWeaver video tutorials. So as I say, this has got all of the keywords in there as well. We've got add-ons, videos, tutorials, RapidWeaver, and that's matching up with our header here. So we're really pushing the point to search engine bots that the content on this page is all about RapidWeaver, add-ons, videos, and tutorials. But as I say, we're trying to do this in a natural way. We don't want to just stuff the content with keywords as many times as possible. We want to tell the search engine bot what the content is going to be on the page. And as I say, we're doing this at the very top, and that is key. We want all of this, we want all of these keywords at the top of our page. So in the header and in a description. So in the header and the description of the page, we want these keywords in there. That's a key point to note. Okay, so let's go back to RapidWeaver and refresh our preview. And we've got our new header and description text there. And this is starting to look a lot better. We're getting our keywords into the header area here and also supporting that header with the keywords in our description below. Now, a common mistake that I see a lot of people make on their sites, and I've mentioned this already in the course, is they think that their company name or their brand name is the most important thing. And sure, in some cases it is. People are searching specifically for your brand or your company name. And of course you want to get that onto the page. But in general, people are searching for specific pieces of content. So people aren't putting in RapidWeaver community when they want to find add-ons for RapidWeaver or when they want to find tutorials. They are searching for RapidWeaver add-ons or they're searching for RapidWeaver video tutorials. They're using those types of keywords when they're searching. And this is why I've removed the title we had previously of the RapidWeaver community, and we've replaced it with a description of the content on the page. Now I know I keep repeating myself with some of these phrases in the videos, but I'm really drilling home here that you need to describe the content on the page. It's the most important thing you can do. We've already got our company name up here in the site logo, and as long as we specify that in the alt text, Google and other search engines are smart enough to know that this is already the RapidWeaver community site. So whenever someone searches for RapidWeaver community, this site is going to come up top anyway. What we're trying to do is come top for more relevant search terms. So like I say, RapidWeaver add-ons and video tutorials. Okay, let's keep moving on this page and go down to the main add-ons listing here. So let's turn back on our styles so that we can see how we're looking. And as I say, we've got our header now, so let's focus on the add-ons listing area. Right now we're just saying add-ons. Sure, that's okay, it's one keyword, it does work, it does describe what's in here, it's showing a list of add-ons, but I think we can do a little bit better. So let's go to RapidWeaver again and scroll down to our add-ons list. And let's update this header to be a little bit more keyword rich. So what are we displaying here? Well, on the RapidWeaver community site, we're actually displaying the most popular RapidWeaver add-ons. So let's take that as an example and update our header to say most popular RapidWeaver add-ons, like so. Now, one thing to note here is that we might want to remove the RapidWeaver keyword because we are getting fairly RapidWeaver heavy here. So I say we've got RapidWeaver in the site name, we've got RapidWeaver in the header area here, we've got RapidWeaver here, here, and now here. So we're getting a lot of duplication here. This is starting to look quite spammy. If I were a search engine bot, I might start to think this is getting quite keyword stuffy. We might want to just think about how many times do we need to say RapidWeaver before the search engine bots get the idea, okay, this is about RapidWeaver. I'd probably say we don't need to put the RapidWeaver keyword in here. And again, this is another mistake that I see a lot of people make. They think they need to get one of the main keywords for their site into the page content as many times as possible. And that's just simply not true. You need to do it in a natural way, and you don't need to add that keyword where it's not necessary. So in this case, I would remove RapidWeaver from the title here. So let's do that. Like so. And refresh. And now we can see here, as I say, we've already got RapidWeaver as a keyword up here a couple of times, and now we're saying these are the most popular add-ons, obviously, for RapidWeaver. So next up we have the sidebar with latest releases. I think that works perfectly well. I don't think that we need to update that. That describes exactly what this list is. It's the latest RapidWeaver add-on releases. That describes the content perfectly. So let's scroll down and see what else we could update or improve. Now we've already touched on and looked at how we can update each one of these cards. So we added the alt tag for the images. We discussed whether we could change the wording of these buttons and so on. So we won't focus on that in this video. If you want more information on that, go back to the previous SEO friendly HTML lessons and watch those. However, what we are going to do is talk more about something I touched on in the previous videos, and that was making it easier for people to find content on your site. Because what we're doing on our site, we're not only trying to make it easy for search engine bots to index and find the content on our site, we're trying to make people view the content and stay on our site for as long as possible. Because obviously, the easier it is for people to find content on our site, the more likely they are to stay on there, the more likely they are to share it with friends on social media, and so on. So with that in mind, if we go to the live RapidWeaver community site, what you'll see that I have done here is below the most popular add-ons list, I've put a title in here. So I've said keep exploring the 1000 plus add-ons available for RapidWeaver. So again, I'm describing the content that's coming up, and I've also got a couple of keywords in there. So I've got add-ons again and RapidWeaver. Then I've listed out links to all of the major types of add-ons that are available, and then some of the more popular categories or tags that we have on the site. So what this content is doing here is allowing people to keep browsing the site. It's allowing them to find content more easily, but it's also allowing the search engine bots to build up a picture of what your site content is all about. So when a search engine bot comes and indexes this, they can see, oh, okay, when I go to rapidweavercommunity.com/add-ons, that's going to show me the most popular add-ons. When I go to the URL for this button, it's going to show me the RapidWeaver themes and the stacks and so on. And the same for all of the tags here. So as I say, what we're doing is we're trying to build up a picture not only for our visitors, but also for the bots to understand the content on our site in a more human-friendly way. So, as I say, with that in mind, let's go back to RapidWeaver. And what we're going to do is add a new section in below the add-ons list here. So I'm just going to close up a few of these stacks here, so we've got some room to work. And I'm going to go to my Foundry stacks. I'm going to add a container. And then I'm going to add a column stack here. And we're just going to have one column. Then I'm going to add a header. Now this is going to be a subtitle for the page, so I think an H2 tag is going to work. And what I'm going to do is borrow this title. So I'm going to copy that and paste it in here, like so. We're just going to center align that. And then what we want to do is add those list of links below this heading. So I'm not going to make you watch me do that. I'll do that very quickly now and then come back. Okay, so I've added the buttons there. I've got the links to the main groups of add-ons, and then I've got a list of tags for the site as well. So if we go back and view that in Safari, you can see that we've still got the title there. And what I've done is updated the sizing for the title, because don't forget, you can still change the styling for the H2 tag to make it fit in with the content. As I say, as I touched on previously, I wouldn't necessarily want this to be a big, massive title like it is up the top here. We want to kind of keep it in line a little bit smaller, but I still want it to be semantically correct. So I still want this to be a separation of the content when it's being indexed. Then below there, we've got a link to the most popular. We've got links to free add-ons, themes, stacks, and plugins, and then a list of the most popular categories as well. Now for your site, you're probably not running a listing site like this, but maybe you're running a blog. So this could be the main categories on your blog, and then this could be some of the most popular tags for each one of your posts. Or if you are running some type of business site, this could be the different types of services that you offer, and then maybe you wouldn't have a subsection here. It's all going to depend on the content on your site. What we're trying to do here is allow people to find content easily on our site. That's a key point. The search engine bots are very clever about being able to index your content and realize that everything is nicely linked together, everything makes sense. All the text on your site is working together. So as I mentioned, when the search engine bot goes and indexes this most popular page, it's going to expect to find the most popular RapidWeaver add-ons. And in the same way for the other categories, if when they click on this link, it doesn't give them just the RapidWeaver themes, you'll kind of be working against yourself. As I say, you want to make sure that the link text here is describing the content that is going to be found on that page. So one thing I want to do before we move on is just update these links just to drill home a couple of points. So let's go back to RapidWeaver. We'll select the most popular button. Then we're going to set the link. Now obviously on your site you would have a dedicated page or a dedicated listing of the most popular add-ons, but for this example we'll just link to the add-ons homepage. But then what we do want to do is update the title. So ensure that we are providing some additional content that sets the title of the link. So for example here we're going to want to say find the most popular RapidWeaver add-ons. RapidWeaver add-ons, something like that. Essentially what we want to do is describe the content again and get our keywords in there. So we've got most popular and RapidWeaver add-ons. Those are the key words that we want to be found for. Okay, so we'll set the title and then set the link. You'd want to do that for all of the links on your site. So we're not going to obviously go through each one of these buttons and do that. The principle is the same, just ensure that you set the link title and that it describes in more detail the content that is going to be found. Okay, let's go back to Safari. Now I think we're pretty much done with this header and add-ons area. We've started to describe the content in a more keyword friendly way. We've added some additional links so that people can click through our site and find content more easily. Next up, we're going to have a look at the videos section down here. So this is going to be pretty similar to what we've just done. Again, we just have a very basic title here, Rapid Weaver Community Videos. At the top of the page, when we started, we just had the Rapid Weaver community. So again, what we want to do is describe this content in more detail and add some supporting text to that. So back to Rapid Weaver, let's close up this container. We'll open up the banner here and we'll go and edit our video list. So again, we need to be thinking about what are the keywords we want to be found for. And for this specific content, it's Rapid Weaver video tutorials. So let's go in and edit this. So we'll say Rapid Weaver video tutorials. And again, as I said, we want to add some supporting text. So we'll add a paragraph. And I'm going to paste in some text I've already got. So here I've put, we have hundreds of video tutorials that teach you how to build everything from one-page sites to dynamic online stores. So again, as I say, what we're doing is we're adding some supportive text just to help describe the content that's coming up. So our heading is getting our main keywords in there, and then we're getting the keywords into this text, but we're also describing the content. So again, we've got video tutorials here, and we've got some other supporting keywords that might be searched for. So people might be searching for Rapid Weaver tutorials for online stores or one-page sites, or we might want to get something like online editing or things like that. Anything that you think people will be searching for, you can start adding some of those keywords into your content as well. Okay, that'll do it for there. Let's go and refresh. And what we want to do is probably just center align that one. So let's go in here, center align. I'm going to make this a lead paragraph here. So we'll go and refresh that. And that looks a little bit better. Now what we don't have is a heading for these videos. So we don't know what type of videos are these. Are they the most popular ones? Are they the latest videos? Are they specific to a course or a tag? We're not really describing the content that is actually here. Sure, we are saying they're Rapid Weaver video tutorials, but as with the add-ons area here, we can be a little bit more specific, and that allows us to get not only another heading onto our page, but also a couple more keywords just to really emphasize what is this content all about. So let's go in here and duplicate this header, pop that in there. We'll set this as an H3 because obviously we are one level below now. We're inside the Rapid Weaver video tutorials area. And what we'll say is the most popular videos, like so. And I think that'll do it. We'll want this left aligned actually. So we're going to refresh that. Okay, and I might just set a custom font size. So I think we'll have 18 pixels everywhere. I'm going to add a bit more margin to the bottom of the paragraph. So we'll just say 30 pixels. And there, now we're looking a little bit better. As I say, we've got our main content heading with our keywords, we've got the supporting text, and now we've got our subheading that is describing this content in more detail. Now these cards work in kind of the same way as the cards up here, so we won't go into detail about those. Go back and watch the other videos and that will help you think about and design how you lay out your content and the types of content that you add inside of here. And actually I think that might do it for this page. What I would probably do if this was the live site is add some links down below here in the same way that we've done for the add-ons area. Again, just to make it easier for people to find more content and easier for search engine bots to build up a picture of our site and link all of the pages together and know which ones are the most popular, which ones are the most linked to, which pages are likely to be clicked on. It all just helps search engines build up a picture of all of the content on your site. So for example, on the live site here, you can see I've got our heading up the top, then I've got our subheading with the popular courses, and I've also got the latest videos. In this example, rather than adding additional buttons like I have done for the add-ons area, I've listed not only the main courses so that you can find groups of videos, I've also listed out the latest videos that we have added to the site. Now I'm probably missing a button down here to say view all the videos or view more videos, and that could be a small update that I might actually apply to the live site. Okay, we've now spent a long time on the content, and I'm kind of doing that purposefully because the content is really what matters on your site. All the additional supporting metadata like the URLs, the browser titles, the meta tags, that is important, but it doesn't mean anything unless the content is there for the user. Search engines aren't going to recommend your pages if the content isn't relevant and easily indexable. So my advice to you is focus on the content first and then update the other additional things that we've learned in this course. So thinking about that, as I say, I think the content is looking a lot better on the homepage. Let's go ahead and tweak the browser titles and meta tags for this page to match that new content. So back to RapidWeaver, and we're on the homepage still. Let's go to the Page Inspector General Settings. Now the browser title is Find Add-ons and Tutorials for RapidWeaver. Not bad. Let's have a look at what we've actually got in the banner area here. So we've got Find 1000 plus RapidWeaver add-ons and hundreds of video tutorials. So yeah, I think that matches up pretty well. We've got Find, add-ons, tutorials, and RapidWeaver in the browser title. We wouldn't really want to have this full title here, so we wouldn't want to just copy this text into the browser title simply because that's quite long. We want to try and keep the browser title fairly short but still have our keywords, and I think we're doing that well at the moment. So I'd probably leave that as it is actually for this page. Next up, let's update the meta description. So right now we have browse for RapidWeaver add-ons and so on, with a few keywords in there, but we're not really mentioning, or we're not mentioning at all, video tutorials. And one key point, as I mentioned, is this text isn't actually in the content of our page. So what I will probably do is what I usually do is just copy the first paragraph. I might have to adjust it slightly to pull it down under 155 or so characters. But as I say, what I usually do is copy this paragraph of text and put that into the meta description box up here. So I'm going to paste that in. And here we can see we're at 113. So it's perfectly fine. We're not over the limit. And we're also, as I say, we're also adding this content onto the page. Next up, we might want to update the social tags. So the title, we probably want RapidWeaver add-ons and tutorials on the RapidWeaver community, something like that. If you want to shorten it up, we could just add a pipe character here. So we've got our company name at the end and we've got our keywords at the beginning. And again, we'll probably just copy the description over to here, like so. Then you'd want to create an image that represented the title and description into there. We've just used a placeholder for now. Then below in the other tags, we previously added an open graph video tag. So if you do have a video on your page that you want to specifically be used for when this page is shared on social media, you should go back and watch the meta tags video and you'll learn how you can do that. But for us, we'll just remove that just to tidy things up. And I think we are done for the homepage. Let's just preview this actually in the browser. So we've got our header there, the text, find add-ons and tutorials, RapidWeaver. That's all looking good. We're matching up the keywords here. We're describing the content nicely. We've got the additional header and we've got our additional buttons and links so we can find more content. Then we're separating out the next piece of content with our supporting text and our subheadings. So I think that's looking pretty good for the home page. So we'll stop this lesson here, but in the next one, we'll look at how we can apply these lessons to the individual add-on page.